It's an honor to be asked to present, to introduce a video that you'll see in a minute dedicated to Frank Schnabel. When they first asked me, I said, well, that's probably because I'm the oldest. And I talked to Gina Schnabel a few minutes ago, and it's true, I am older. Quite a bit, probably, Gina. But no, it was because I knew Frank from the time I was born, really. Frank was in Montreal in 1953 and founded the Canadian Hemophilia Society here in Montreal with my parents and my grandparents. So Frank was sort of a household word and a household somebody who we visited often. And throughout my youth, it was, well, Frank said this, Frank did that, Frank's going here. And so I was quite impressed as I grew up. But I was even more impressed by the fact that Frank had hockey tickets. And occasionally, when I was very, very lucky, invited me to go to a hockey game with him. And I remember those games vividly. So I won't say any more. Was only given 2 minutes. And I think the video will say quite a bit about Frank and what he did for all of us and for the world. Thank you.
Frank was a model, I think, for me and probably for many others. First of all, he worked in the tallest skyscraper in Montreal, which I thought was very impressive. He was a consul general for Costa Rica. He flew around the world. He didn't let the disease stop him from being very, very active. For a person with hemophilia, this was quite unique. Frank thought there was a need for a world organization. In those days, probably 95% of the world's hemophiliacs were not getting any care at all. There was very little knowledge about hemophilia, even in major medical centers. So the idea was to bring people together, to share knowledge, and improve care across the world. And so his vision was an international one, a global vision. Frank was the face of hemophilia. He was born at a time when there was no treatment. He lived through the time of fresh frozen plasma. He started himself on outpatient care. And he also was at the forefront of the great tragedy in hemophilia. He had seen the signs on the wall that not only he, but probably many others were infected with HIV. I happened to be in hospital when he was in hospital very near the end of his life. He was quite sick. And his hospital room was full of papers and books, and he was going on like everything was okay. He was planning the next Congress.
During the last week in hospital, I asked Frank, how do you foresee the future of the Federation? He gathered all the strength he had left, raised his voice, and said, we are going to emerge victorious.
I think back to Frank, and then I see the people at a Congress, and he would have been just so proud of the way that patient organizations are standing up for themselves, are advocating for what they need, of the great partnership between the doctors, the nurses, the physiotherapists, the social workers, the patient organizations. he'd be so proud to see where care is now compared to where it was when he passed away.
Boy, that's beautiful to see, and I want to thank David for your words. You have captured my father. You've all captured my father. He loved what he was doing, and I am so proud to see what you've continued. You amaze me every day, and I thank you, and keep on. I appreciate it so much for our family. Thank you.